fine. Except that I got a message that my uncle passed away today, so I was a
Oh
little sad
no.
earlier, but I'm fine. He was 91.
Oh, where did he live?
Canada,
Up in Canada? Oh, so your dad's
Toronto.
brother?
Yeah, he called around Christmas and I was like, I'm coming to visit. I'm coming because I know he's getting old and I really wanted to see him, but
Yeah.
just couldn't make it in time, I guess.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
Mm.
that.
Yeah. Well, his wife is there. I feel bad for her.
Mhm.
She's gonna be
She there by by
She
herself?
has her son, but I
Uh-huh.
think she lives alone in the
Oh,
house.
that reminds me of just that whole idea about being alone. I was watching Clickbait, and I'm on that episode where the school administrator is behind a lot of the shenanigans with the husband dying,
Mhm.
and one of the scenes, her husband, he's all into model trains and everything, and she's like, "Are you coming to bed?" And he was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I'll be there, but don't wait up if I don't make it." And she's just so alone, and she's trying to pretend like she has a fulfilling life, but really she's just alone.
Sad.
It is
She's a
sad.
sad lady.
Yeah, so I mean, I can imagine a lot of people in her generation have passed on, and now her husband has passed on, and
Um,
it does seem like kind of a lonely place to be when you're at the end of your life and you know that people around you, either they've passed or they have their own lives,
mm,
and you're just kind of like on the periphery of those
yeah.
lives. I can just imagine. It's so weird because like my mom, when I do call, like I don't talk to my mom like every day, and it's not
Mhm.
like a set schedule. Like she talks to her sister every day
Mm.
because that's what her mom did with her sisters. They talked every day.
That's nice.
I know it is. And it's just a shame that, well, I try to develop a habit, but it's like, it's weird because we were apart for so long.
Mm.
When she went over to teach in Africa, and we went over there for 2 years. And then after the 2 years, we came back to live with our dad. And so for 4 years, my mom was teaching in Nigeria, and we would only talk a couple times a year. And she
Mm.
would she would try to come home every year, but it didn't happen that way. So you get out of the habit. And so I'm trying to get back in the habit of
Yeah.
at least calling her once a week. And when I do call, she's like, "Oh, thank you for calling. It's so nice to hear from you."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh,
I know that's hard. When my dad was alive and he was living on his own, when he started getting older, of course, I would be in touch with him more often, but
mhm,
there were times when it would be like a week and I haven't talked to him. And then, like, now that he's gone, I still have those, like, oh my gosh, I need to call my dad
really?
feeling. And then it makes me sad, like, oh, I
Oh,
can't.
yeah." It's like I say, like when my dad calls me, like I save his voicemails, and it's just
Yeah.
like, "Hey Val, it's your daddy." And I'm like, one day I'll listen to those and he won't be here. Now, if I hear him, like, oh, that's daddy.
I
But
know it's gonna make me cry.
sorry. But that's like, it's weird because this time of life for me is like that in a way. It's like all nostalgic because you're in the middle. You're like, oh, my kids are all grown up. They're not babies anymore. And then like your parents are older and you're like, they're gonna be gone one day, and you're just like, everyone's leaving me. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm like you. I get misty like all the time.
No.
Is it a middle-aged mom's thing? I don't know, Melodies. What do you think? I'm like, are you guys getting misty all the time?
Well, especially now, I think with COVID and being stuck at home and not being able to really visit your family like you want,
Yeah.
it's been 2 years since we went to Canada, and I'm glad I at least let my brought my kids so that they got to meet my uncle my
Yeah.
uncles, but it would have been nice if we could have seen them again, but, it just didn't work out because of COVID.
Yeah. I
So you
am
sent
good.
me,
Standing in my closet.
can you hear that?
Uh-huh. Trying to find something. Said I'm gonna go shopping. Yeah, yeah. Gonna redo therapy. Never heard when you heard so deep out of my head. Buried in the sand. Don't wanna deal with the bullshit, the conflict, the comes with saying goodbye, coming up for air. And I don't care what no one says. Gonna throw it all out the window. Let it go like a living load of dirty laundry. Do 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 dirty laundry. Standing in.
I like it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a challenge for me because there's like a very interesting like chord change there, like a key change sort of from the verse to the B section and then the chorus.
Yeah.
So I just need to figure out how I'm going to do that.
Well, just use it as a place to be inspired. It doesn't have to be exactly those chords, because we can, that's just what came to me. But if it inspires you to do a different track or a track that goes somewhere else, then we could change up. I'm not like, married to that melody.
Well, I already hear something. It's just a matter of if I'm going to be able to pull it off, what I hear. So I'm going to try it.
Okay. Okay, why? I was thinking about, because being a middle-aged mom making music. Okay, so you listen to all the songs on the radio and all the songs, especially like all the songs that the kids are listening to. It's about, trying to get the girl, or the girl broke their heart. Well, that's just love and life with anyone. But being in the club and drinking and smoking, like with the rappers, it's, beefing with someone, or 10 toes. My life has been raising my kids. And of course, there's love and there's life and there's heartbreak, but my context is different. And sometimes being an older writer, listening to what's current, I feel embarrassed or think that what I have to say is not relevant or good enough for the market, because it's the experience of an older generation. But then I just said, when this idea came, I just said, F it. This is my experience. So yeah, I compared getting rid of, just, moving past a bad experience, like, doing a load of dirty laundry.
And that can apply to anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. When I thought about it, I was like, yeah, young people do laundry too. So I'm becoming more comfortable with just being comfortable with my perspective and not trying to compare my experience or my writing to what's the hot songs that are out there.
And I think that that's the way to go. I think trying to capture something that's out there is just going to hinder our creativity.
I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
I like it.
Thank you. So how has the 5 minutes been working for you?
Well, I can play have you listened to any of the tracks that I made in the little 5 minutes? I haven't had I've started on a lot of songs, but I haven't actually made any complete stuff, but I have a couple that I sent you that I did work on. I don't know if you had a chance to listen, but I can play them now.
Yeah, play them now. I haven't had a chance.
Okay. So this one is called Tsunami. And
I love that title.
I wrote it because of the volcano that erupted. So here it is, if you can hear it. That one is kind of an emotional song, and it kind of talks to me about like tsunami is like an overwhelming rush of emotions like taking
Yeah.
over. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I was thinking when I did that one.
Yeah. I felt it like in the first bar.
Mm.
I was like, oh, I felt that. I was like, okay, I can deal with that.
Yeah.
So did you write any lyrics for it?
No, I was hoping you would.
Oh, well, I'm definitely going there.
Okay. I
I
want to
love
see
that
what
one.
you can do with it.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
here's another one. This is just a sample I found an old 70s or I think it's 80s Japanese funk song.
Mhm.
So I kind of sampled it and turned it into something we could write to. So here it
Okay.
is. That's basically it. It just kind of loops.
I love that. It's because it's like it's quirky, it's different, but it's funky. And it reminds me of this group called BBQ back in the early 80s.
Hmm.
And so I can hear us doing a melody like together, kind of like a Johnny type of vibe.
Hmm.
And yeah, yeah.
Okay. That's the other one.
Okay. So and that was done in the 5 minute, like you started and you
Yeah.
kind of evolved.
Hmm. Yeah, both of those. And so I haven't worked on anything else yet.
Mhm.
But I mean, I have worked on
No,
stuff,
but
but
it's
nothing's
only been a week. That's a lot in a week. It's like, especially if we're trying to,
just get our wheels rolling.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because what I'm noticing is that making that small commitment, it's greasing the wheel.
Hmm.
It's like, okay, so this is getting easier and easier as far as like uh just get into that space without having to clear a space.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, it kind of puts you there where you can make room for it in between all the mess and not
yeah.
worry about cleaning up.
Right, right. Because what I found was when I committed to the 5 minutes and something came up, then it's like, okay, so I'm like in the kitchen and I'm like making something, and then I like run back to the notebook and be like, okay, da 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 da, take record a little idea, and then go back into the kitchen, and
Hmm.
then like as I'm working, it's like on my mind, and then something else will come, and I'll go back to the notebook, and so it's like it's almost teaching me how not to have everything perfect for
Yeah.
to get into that space.
Yeah, I did the same thing with these two tracks. I was working on the bathroom while
Mhm.
I was working on these. So I would work on a little bit, then I would go in there and tile, tile, tile,
Yeah.
and then I would come back and put a little more to it, and then go back to the bathroom and start tiling again. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it worked out where I didn't feel like it kind of pushes you to forget about trying to clear your plate and just work through it.
Right, right, right. And it's so it's like if you get started, you do the 5 minutes. If something clicks and you work more, then that's great. But if not, you made that commitment
Mhm.
for that day. And
And I
you've
think it teaches us to keep our brain turned on to
right.
writing.
Okay. Yes, yes, yes. That I think you're right on the mark with that. Yeah, because I woke up this morning with a thought. I wrote it down. It's nothing, but yeah, just my ideas are silly sometimes. but at least it's like, okay, so I can come back to that later.
Mhm.
Like, okay, so my 5 minutes are here. What am I going to write about? What am I going to write about? So like my brain is already kind of like in that mode, and it will like give me something it could give me something at any time.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that I think that's what that muscle that we're building,
Yeah.
that creativity muscle, to kind of like be creative no matter what.
Anytime. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
So
felt
I
good
like what
about
we're
that.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So last week we went to dinner for your birthday and we
Yes.
talked about a few things. And one of the things that you mentioned was when you were younger, how shy you were. So I kind of want to share with our melodies how being shy doesn't mean that you can't perform in front of people. So tell us your experience, Val.
Okay. So I just remember. Okay, so when I came back, just give a little context. When I came back from Africa, I was 13 years old. And so that's kind of like the time in, an a young person's life where, there's the cool kids, there's the nerdy kids, there's like, I felt like coming back into the States. I didn't really know what kind of kid I was. But there were these girls and they used to sing all the time. And I was just like, I think I like to sing, but I was like, I'm never gonna sing. I'm never gonna sing. I was just like too self-conscious, too shy. And it wasn't until I got to college and I was at a party and yeah, I had a little something to drink and the inhibitions kind of fall away. And I got up there and sang. And that led to me getting a solo in the gospel choir that I was in. And things just kind of snowballed from there. But the point of the story is, yes, you can be shy, you can be a late bloomer. But I think that if you have that passion within you and you just have to just put it out there, just even with, our YouTube channel, Middle Aged Moms Making Music, I could come up with a million reasons why we shouldn't be doing this. It's like, okay, look, I'm in a t-shirt. We're moms. Like, what are we doing? But Lea, you're so courageous. She's just like, let's just do it. So that's pretty much the gist of the story, is that it doesn't matter how shy you may feel. It's just about taking a chance and seeing where that chance will take you. And what about you, Lea?
Me? So I guess when I was little, I was quiet. I don't think I like right now everyone looks at me and says, "Oh, Leia's so soft spoken and so peaceful." And when I was little, I think I was like that too, but I was in my head a lot. So I was always thinking and wanting to do things. And like I think I've always had this little desire to just do as much as I can.
Yeah.
So I wasn't the most outgoing person, but my mom kind of made me in the 6th grade. She made me perform in front of the whole school a koto. I don't know if you know what a koto is, but it's a long instrument. It's a Japanese instrument with strings. One day I'll bring it out and put it together so I can play it for you. But it's a
Hey.
long wooden instrument, and I had to play it in front of the school. My mom made me learn a little song. And then after that, I wanted a keyboard. I think I was about 14 or 15. I asked my mom if she could buy me a keyboard so I could learn to play synthesizer. And she was like, okay, I'll buy you one, but only if you join a band. So I was like, okay. And then we just happened to meet some guys at the movies whose brother or cousin was looking for a keyboard player. And then it kind of sprung up from there, where I just started meeting musicians all over the place and playing in a band and producing. Production came when the band kind of fell apart. And I said,
Mhm.
well, if I can't make music with other people, I'll just make music by myself.
Mhm.
So I started using the tape recorder thing. Yeah. So my experience and my advice to melodies is also, if you have like something that you love, just go for it. Don't let anything stop you. Like everyone thinks, oh, you look like you should be a nurse or a teacher. And like the nerd that I am, I'm like, no, I want to be a music producer. So that's what I did. Now I'm an engineer and a music
And
producer.
a music producer. Yep. You don't have to be stuck into one box. That's my philosophy. Go ahead and stick your fingers in all kind of boxes.
Walk through all the doors.